Hello everyone and welcome back to JavaScript lessons on Codecademy. So last time we were looking more at the while loop, and today we're going to be finishing off with the loops, hopefully, I think. And so let's get started straight away. As we mentioned, for loops are great for doing the same task over and over when you know ahead of time how many times you'll have to repeat the loop. So as we talked about this in the last two lessons, and where I told you guys a few things at the end of the last lesson, this is where for loops are more useful. On the other hand, while loops are ideal when you have to loop, but you don't know ahead of time how many times you'll need to loop. So for example, you have something random happening, such as a coin being flipped. As you saw, however, you can combine a while loop with a counter variable to do the same kind of work as a for loop does. Which is why sometimes if you don't know if you should use a while loop or a for loop, you should use a while loop, because it might be easier to fix later on. In these cases, it's often a matter of preference. Write two loops in the editor, one while and one for. No restrictions on this one, just make sure your loops are syntactically correct, so the syntax is correct, and be careful to avoid infinite loops. So let's do that. Oops, I'm not typing. So how you do a for loop is you have for, and in the parentheses you have three conditions. And how you do a while loop is you have normal parentheses in which you only have one condition. So the condition in the for loop is something like I equals 0 with a colon. Then you have do something until this condition. So until I is less than 10, I don't know. And I++, because that's the only thing I can think of right now. And then we can print off the value of I after each time we have done that. And this is going to print out all of the values from 0 to 9, I believe. So if you want it to be from 0 to 10, we just do equal to, less than or equal to, I mean. And yeah, now with the while loop, let's just do the same thing. We have while I is less than or equal to 10, and before that we actually want to define what I is going to be, which we want it to be 0 because that's what we made it to be in the for loop. While that's true, we want to do the same exact thing, and at the end just increase I by 1. So let's see if that works. And I don't actually understand why 10 is printed out twice. Let's see. So our for loop prints this out. I think that I will actually do... Okay, let's make this a bit more clearer for me and for you guys. So, new line. This basically just leaves a space enter between the two things. So don't worry too much about this, it's nothing special. Let's reload and try that again to see a more clear version of it. So our for loop is everything before those two spaces, which is from 0 to 10, where 10 is printed out once. And then our while loop is everything from 0 to 10, and 10 is printed out twice for some reason. So when it becomes 9 and then 10, then is printed out I++. I actually don't know why 10 is printed out twice here. Is it because of this? It might just be that the output isn't that correct, and if you're doing it in a normal compiler it works. So I'm actually just going to ignore that. If you guys know why, or have tested it in your own JavaScript, not just in the browser or Codecademy's JavaScript, and it does the same thing, then please do tell me. I will try to figure out what it is. For now, I will just assume that it's Codecademy's error. So let's move on. Sometimes you want to make sure your loops run at least one time, no matter what. When this is the case, you want a modified while loop called a do while loop. You can achieve the same thing by doing something like while true and then changing the true to a false, or doing a break or something like that, but a do while loop is a lot more efficient. This loop says, hey, do this thing one time, then check the condition to see if we should keep looping. After that, it's just like a normal while loop. The loop will continue so long as the condition being evaluated is true. So we need to click save and submit code to see the loop in action. It runs once because do tells it to, but then never again because loop condition is false. So let's look at this. You have loop condition is false, and you have do something. So you're basically telling the program or the compiler or whatever you want to call it to do this. You're forcing it to do this, and then after it's done that, to check if the condition in the that is getting tested is true or false. If it's false, nothing more is going to happen. If it's true, it's going to loop again. So let's save and submit, and as we can see, this gets run once and it tells us that loop condition is false. So let's move on. Hopefully we get to do this by ourselves. So to learn it, you gotta do it, of course. So now it's our turn. Now that you've seen how do while loops work, you can easily write your own. So we can check the hint if we need a syntax refresher. Your loop should print a string of your choice to the editor one time. Remember to make sure you give your while condition a way to become false, or it will loop forever and probably crash or crash a plugin, I think. Write the do while loop inside the function we've created for you. Get to the chopper. I cannot pronounce that the way Schwarzenegger would, but I'm just gonna call it get to the chopper. The function should log a string of your choice to the console. Do it now. So how you do while loop is do with curly brackets and then while something. I believe that was it. Let's just check just in case. So you have the curly brackets after the do, and after the while you have the normal parentheses. Oh, and there's actually a semicolon there as well. So that's why I wanted to check that, because otherwise I would just be sitting here wondering what's wrong, because I'm not really used to using semicolons. So that's our function. What do we need to do? The function should log a string of your choice to the console. Oh, okay, that's easy. We just need to do console.log. And then what should our string be? Yeah, I'm going with that. Oops, what have we done wrong? Okay, syntax error, expected expression, got parentheses, got a bracket. I do not see it. Let's see if we do that. Is that going to work? Okay, no, it's not. I'll be back, guys. So I'm back, and I found out what the problem was, and it was really stupid. I just didn't have anything written in the while condition. So basically what I had was this. I had no condition in the while. So I just put while I doesn't equal 5, and also added I equals 0 here and I++ here, because I just didn't feel creative enough to do something more interesting. And what this should do is print out I'll be back 5 times. So let's see. There we go. So exclamation mark and equals, as we've learned before, covered before, I believe, just means while it doesn't equal. So once it does equal, it's just going to end. So even if it's 4.99 or 5.01, it's going to work if that's how you've decided to do it. But if it equals 5, it's going to exit exactly 5. And that's something that you can do with a do while loop, and this will always be printed out. And after that, this is going to be checked. So for example, if we say here equal to, let's see what happens. And because I is never equal to 5, because I actually never do that, it's only going to equal 1. It's only going to be printed out once because of the do, not because of the while. So let's move on. Oh guys, and if you have any questions, do feel free to ask in the comments down below. So awesome work. you've now learned about all loops there are: for, while, and do. I believe there's also a while else loop, but I'm not sure if that exists in JavaScript. That definitely exists in Python though. So let's finish up and prove your loop mastery. Write 3 syntactically, I cannot pronounce that word, correct loops in the editor. 1 for, 1 while, and 1 do while. Beware of infinite loops. Oh, okay then. I'm not feeling that creative. I'm never feeling that creative. I'll just start off with the bare skeleton of each one of those, and then I'll just work my way from there. I'll just do the same thing in all of them. So I'll do the same thing as I did before, counting from, instead of 0 to 10 this time, I'll count from 1 to 10. Why not? So yeah, you guys can just watch what I'm doing. I is not equal to 10. You can either do not equal to 10 or less than 10. It doesn't matter. Actually, I need to do not equal to 11, because otherwise it would just go to 9 instead of 10, which is what I actually want. And if we do this, that should work. Before this, I will do just to know where the for loop is, and then afterwards I will just leave an extra line to be able to know the things between, and for the whole program to be clearer, basically. Then I will copy and paste the thing. Oops, not there. that is definitely not where I wanted it to be. And I will change those, these. This is the do while, and this is the while, not the for. So while I is not equal to 11. Oh, I should actually probably specify what I is before I do a lot of these things. So I'm starting with 1. There we go. And then the do while loop. Ooh, what do I want to do for this? I think that I'm just going to do the same thing. And here I will just change I equals 1 again, because otherwise I might equal 10, which would cause this not to run as many times as I would like it to, so it would only run once. So let's see if this works. No, it doesn't, and that is because I did the same mistake as before. So there we go. Oops. I don't know why I forget that. That's the most important thing in the do while loop, because the while part is the most important thing. So the for loop. Oh, come on. I have no idea what it's doing now. It's just going down. Okay, I guess I'll have to hold it down. So the for loop prints the numbers from 1 to 10, like a normal loop. Then you have the while loop, which prints the numbers from 1 to 10 again, but it's done with the while loop, so it works slightly differently. And then you have a do while loop, which prints the numbers from 1 to 10, and 10 is printed out twice again. Let's actually try something. I will switch the places of these two loops and then see what happens if I just do that. So something like this. And instead of this, oops, there, I want it to be there. So if I change the positions of those, what's going to happen? And this isn't the do while, it's just the while loop. And I cut instead of copy. Let's see what's going to happen now. So yes, I do believe that it's Oops, no, this is I still did the same thing. But anyway, it's I do believe that it's just Codecademy adding the extra 10 for some reason there, because I changed around the position of those and it didn't change anything. So if you guys are running into problems with that, just tell me. I will look into it. I will try to look into it, and I will give you an answer if you actually have a problem. But because I don't have a problem, I'm hoping that you guys won't have a problem either. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the loops videos. I don't know what's going to be happening next lesson, but we will see. So until that time, please like, share and subscribe. If you didn't like it though, dislike and tell me why you didn't like it, so that I can improve for next time. And until that next time, thank you for watching again, and goodbye.